Hello, my friends. For those of you who only get this video via the newsletter, it's been a while. How are you doing? If you're checking the YouTube channel, welcome back. My sermon this week is on authority and power and leadership. The disciples are trying to edge out each other over who's the greatest. And I had a very specific time in my life. I don't think I'm going to share this. I don't think I've ever shared this story, and it probably won't this Sunday. Um, but there was a time in my life where I don't want to say I was seduced by power, but I was way more tempted by secular power and authority than I am now. I grew up in a very political home. In my front entryway, there was a portrait of Hubert Humphrey. If you know who that is, you know what kind of house I grew up in. Um, few people are like, "Isn't that what the Metrodome was named after?" Uh huh. You're getting there. Um, but I, not just my folks pushing political conversations at a very early age and throughout my life, I always felt like that was trappings that I felt comfortable in. Political conversations with the people who made those decisions felt like where I belonged a little bit. And it wasn't because I thought highly of myself. I know that I felt drawn towards pomp and circumstance. Me drawn to pomp and circumstance? I know you all are just there's a collective hush across the internet. But an early form of that was, I mean, it's obviously, spurred on by the show West Wing, if you remember that. But it was also, I remember this time, my last semester of seminary of my graduate degree, I lived in Washington, D.C. So this would have been January of 2009 towards May um, of that year. So I got to see the inauguration of Barack Obama, his first term, and the first 100 days, first few months. I got to meet big names in politics via the seminary program. Um, I could totally name drop. Not gonna. But I will say this. I got a tour of the Supreme Court building by one of the Supreme Court justices' clerks, and got to know them. And they took me to like their favorite place to get a burger. What a time. And that was it for me. Like there was something about, if you've ever been to Washington D.C., the Capitol, the Supreme Court building, the White House, all of these trappings, the security and the ceremony of it all. It really spoke to me. But I remember there have been two books. There's a few more if I really think about it, but the two that I usually point to as changing my life. One video for another day, the autobiography of Malcolm X, absolutely changed my life. The second one is Tempting Faith by David Quo. You probably have never heard of it. It didn't make a whole lot of like great listings, but it shared this guy's life through a political lens and how he felt the closer he drew into kind of contemporary understandings of power and where that was coming from for him. I heard my story responding back. I think you can go into politics and be a good person. I think you can be elected to office and be a good person. I think you can fight in political offices for all the right causes. I don't know if I could. And when that hit me, well, then I'm going to go be the best pastor I can be. I'm going to fully commit my life to the calling that I know God put me in this world for. Not something that I think I could do or might like to do or something that I'm attracted to, something I know. I have heard the voice. I have heard God's voice as clear as I can. this is what I'm meant to give my life for. This is how I serve. Now, of course, in church life, it's pomp and there's a lot of pomp and circumstance. My boss, my boss's title is bishop. And you usually refer to them by that title rather than their name. Pomp and circumstance. They got a cane when they walk into a thing. Their robes are nice. Like, so sure, there's pomp and circumstance, but I'm not called to that. I'm called to the service of people. Pomp and circumstance, that might come, that might be part of it, but really what it is seeing who, being able to have the one-on-one conversations, to be able to really talk to the people from week to week and help shape a community to be more in tune to a rhythm of love. Anyway, this is one of these thoughts and stories. It's a little extra credit. All right, I'll see you Sunday.